Hello. So, I'm Gabriel. This is Watcher DM, and yeah, I am taking the next half. Sorry, I'm late. 43 minutes. I had a meeting with my creative team at Watcher DM before coming here, and it ran a little long, and I jumped out and had dinner real quick because I didn't want to eat on stream again. I'm doing a lot of that lately. So it's been an exciting week. Lots and lots happening. Lots going on. I got some of the art for the Moon Elves Masquerade adventure module. Very exciting. Um, got word back from Roll20 about shipping the Doom Desert module. So that is in progress. Also, kind of unrelated, but also somehow way related and entirely impossible that I haven't done this step already, but Notion. Mike Shea from Sly Flourish uses Notion. A programmer buddy of mine from work uses Notion. Everybody that I know and respect in terms of their brain power uses Notion, and I, for some reason, had just managed to not take the good advice of literally everyone I know and use Notion. So today, what I was thinking we could do is I have a Humblewood game tomorrow, and I could prep for that. Although it's actually not like it's just a playthrough of kind of the continuation of a game that I had planned before. But some of the characters aren't showing up, so I've got a kind of cast that I sort out. So probably what I'm going to do is over to browser browser. There. Hey, it's Notion. Okay, we are actually. I do want to go real quick. I don't think. To see if there's a way to find out history. There. So we're gonna go to Sly Flourish. We're gonna pick up the. So if you are unfamiliar, the Lazy Dungeon Master author Mike Shea wrote an amazing blog post about using Notion.so for lazy D&D campaign planning, and has done done us the kindness creating the lazy campaign template. And this allows you to set and create a campaign Notion board you can then use to track your stuff. Hey, welcome viewers. It's good. It's good to see you. It's super good to see you. And yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Kelsey Carey for joining the mob, the Watcher DM nerd mob. Anyway, so if you go to this URL, I will post in my chat, and also, yeah, we'll do that for now. And then I think we just click duplicate, and this will create a new copy of it. This one we are going to rename to Humblewood Trash which is my subtitle for that campaign. And then updated 7 13th July. Then I think I can just that away. Throw that away. Throw that. Throw that. Throw that. All right. So some of the nice stuff that this template has in it. Oh, yeah, that's not this one. Okay, I just want to delete this. Is that a thing? Okay, fine, we're great. Thing number one, characters. Now there is already a ton of information about characters in this campaign setting, so I do not necessarily think that that I need to do a bunch of work here. But among the things that I do need to do is to capture the player characters here so that I can refer to them, have some interesting insights into their backgrounds, etc., and most importantly, have them. So, go to D&D Beyond here. So you can see what I'm doing. So you know how fucking slow my internet is. We have new orders. Thank you. Thank you so much for downloading our content. That is super awesome. Oh yeah. Yeah. Got some new. Righto. Some downloaders downloading all 3 modules. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope you signed up for the 3 of our modules, so it's exciting. It's been really nice seeing people download the modules. If you are a person who has downloaded the modules and or run them, please tell me. Please let me know. I want to hear about it. I was fortunate enough to run the Doom Desert and the Decanter of Delirium playtest the other day on the new Roll20 board, which I'm super excited about. Like, I cannot properly verbalize how pumped I am that it's kind of ready. It's like, oh, this is going through the process. So yeah, the new Roll20 board is very fun. It works great for managing that campaign. Doom Desert from a running the game perspective. So players really enjoy the diversity of characterization and interesting stuff. Like, there is a lot of interesting stuff in Doom Desert. But a lot of that stuff comes at a certain cost. The cost is normally in kind of DM complexity, right? Like, it's harder to run because you've got to keep track of kind of these things, right? And so it's really nice being able to make a Roll20 board that helps the DM handle and manage all that kind of stuff. Like the time management in Doom Desert is kind of like there's a mechanism for it, and it's kind of one of the things I want to provide more of in the Roll20 boards is really focus in on the gameplay elements and how to facilitate a better play experience for players and the DM in that regard. So that's kind of what I was working on with Doom Desert, and I'm really stoked that that's coming along. And I'm very excited to see other people playing it. If you play it or play any of our adventures, feel free to comment or tweet at us. It turns out I am Watcher DM all over the internet. You can throw a rock with the name Watcher DM on it and definitely hit me in the noodle. So feel free to do so. I appreciate it. And then let's get into Humblewood Trash Panda Adventures has a colorful cast of mischievous that is. I actually had Benaceridin in the game as a player character, which, if you know anything about the Humblewood campaign, is kind of not a thing. But I'm really stoked that it worked out the way that it did, because I was not super comfortable with the bandits just being the bad guys. I was like, come on, yeah, totally legitimate. Anyway, so what I need to do is take these characters from here namely the ones that are going to be playing, and put them in Notion so I can reference. So I know that Bibley's in it. Clover's going to be there for the first time in a while. Don Perio is coming, and Isaac. Oh, wait a minute. What? Stocking. Not mean to do. Also, no, interesting. It just went, okay. I must have clicked back instead of the thing I'm meaning to do. Hello, baby. So Isaac, the level 1 Gallus Artificer, is not Isaac, level 4 Jolene. I think these are the 4 characters in my game tomorrow. So what we're going to do is we're going to plan specifically the session tomorrow to capture and encapsulate each of these characters kind of uniquely and where they fit into the story and how have fun with a table with these people at that table. Other people who are in the story, I'm going to come up with some, contrived conceit that will cause them to adventure. So, for now, let's grab a share. Thing about this, so you can click new, just Isaac. No, I'm gonna have to tear Isaac. But here you've got your skills, training skills. Always nice to know. So I'm gonna pardon me. Like all they have for skills. Perception 12. Passive and link. Put in common. Under common. And I'm starting to think of Isaac maybe not as a mouse gerbine, but as like a vole or a mole gerbine, which I think would be a really, really cool characterization. Also, this character is played by Jesse Brown, who, if you don't know, amazing dungeon master, or game master, I'd say, who runs on the startplaying.games website. He runs a Darkest Quest adventure, which is based on the Quest tabletop roleplay game. It's really, really cool. It's a very cool system and has some very cool mechanics, and he also runs. I would love very much to at some point regale a bunch of internet nerds with stories of the weird adventures that I've had in that game. Both of whom at this point are like semi-retired. One of them is not retired. He's in hell, so I don't know how to get out of that. Not dead in hell. He's living. Went in after ally who fell in. Well, went in as a sacrifice. It's a long story. Anyway, Bibley the Gerbine Ranger. The interesting play on the Lone Ranger concept. Common. Heck. Fish. Which are kind of unfortunate languages for. It's one of the things that I've liked least about kind of the Dungeons and Dragons system is that language is just so clearly delineated across racial lines, which race isn't even a thing. Like, that's not even a real like thing. It's a man-made thing, and then to imply that race in like completely defines and impacts language is just 100% colonial thinking. It's really bad. Definitely needs addressed at some point. It's kind of poopy. Anyway, there's Isaac, there's Pibbly, Clover Blossom, Clover, little Clover buddy. Dang. Love the expertise though, the acrobatics. They're just like +8. Sleight of hand +8. Baby bird. Burb. She heard burb. Sarluma. Bird. Bird. Love it. Acrobatic. Which I think is how they got the giant toad. Perception. Perception. Which is weird. It's spelled sleight of hand. Slate. Slate. 8. Things that are slight are little and light, and slate, S-L-E-I-G-H-T, means slyness or sneakiness. So, believe it or not, this is the wrong button. Unless you want to play like, oh, we have light hands. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that misspell, but it is a misspell. 15, 11, I think. Basto. But it's like Alrin, so I'm pretty sure this character is in background. But it will be in telepathy 60. That's interesting. I didn't know that that was a language, but respect, mad respect. Oh, hello. What is wrong? It's have language binary skill rather than also hello. Bye. Leave now. Return. Hello, goodbye. Some bandito really don't care. Miss you already. I'm glad you came in and I'm glad you talked to me. I think I'm right. And anybody agreeing with me is beautiful. Mostly because they're so rare. Boom. Alright, so last but not least. Okay, seriously? Are you frozen? Okay, cool. So, new character. Dawn Yarrow. Acrobatics. I feel like leveraging the acrobatics of this party is a fun. That's gonna be like a thing that we should do. Oh my god. Oh, today I caught up on my Rick and Morty 5. I literally did it all in one day. I was just like, from like the moment I woke up, I hit play, Amazon Prime, and spanned Rick and Morty until I had seen all 4 episodes, and it was amazeballs. All right. Arrow. Let's. Oh, this is the thing that you get. It's really weird. You get, for some reason, you get the player field in this view, but not in the other view. Thieves can't, and on Pro. That covers everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and oops. Cool. So, characters created in place. Let's open back up. Also, let's swap out those images with stuff from the actual art that I have captured in the name of the humble game. See if we can do like, oh no, transparency does work. By the way, this drawing is a drawing of Bob the Blob. Hugging a joke. We're gonna change this image to the campaign image, and we repose. I love this picture. I think it just looks so good. All right, cool. Homewood Trash Panda Adventures. So, believe it or not, I think I actually have this notes from this game on Roll20 already. All games. God, it's been forever since I ran this one. Oh, game. I am still using Roll20 for this campaign, even though I recently Pixels and Pagans over to the other it over to Found. Love Found. These are interesting. I'm not a fan of the way that this actually like these are all kind of each like object piece, which I guess is fine, but it's just like, you know, it was confusing at first. It did not seem now position 0. Cool. Yep, we have basement. Cool. I'm happy that you did that. 5 of your campaign elevator pitch. Disney's Robin Hood. Like I want to say like Redwall or like Watership Down. Although there's no rabbits, so I don't know why I'm saying Watership Down. Or Redwall. Yeah, Disney's Robin Hood meets Dungeons and Dragons. That for now. Largely because the only reason to give this conceit is because we set up the default is non-lethal blow, so all blows are non-lethal. Otherwise, the 6 moves to things want your and about the world and the campaign. Share these with Bro Dick. We are running it. Playing fairly D. Have a backup ready. That's only partially true. Worth warning about. What's about the campaign? The bandits. Actually, so let's talk about the. Let's start with the premise. So the Ashen Grove, burning more and more. Verbal way of saying whatever. Over heart. They aloof their roost. Waterheart. Refugees. Join the bandits in groves. That's really fine. Who or what are the three major drivers in the campaign? Often these are villains. Create a villain. Add a major goal for each sub goals. Make them interesting. Okay, I'm with it. I'm here to learn the lazy DM way. This seems like it's pretty cool, actually. These. I think book one. So I'm really not worried about book one. Actually, what I'm going to do here is we're going to go look at the module, kind of where we are. I'm going to create forwards instead of trying to fill back. We are in part 2, the Bandit Minute. Right to them. No, we're past. We're way past. Okay, what the future may. So, regardless of how the party dealt with it, they nuked their city by threat of the Bandit Coalition. So, this still has not happened. The party has not come to an agreement with Benna. But I need the party together, so, or I need to run it. What important? What is important? Next, summons. There's some interesting details in this summons. With the council agreeing to aid Meadowfen, forces to what is in relative peace. It is free to engage in some downtime activity. Challenge the party. I'm pretty sure that yeah, party has already reached level 4. Verify that. They are level 5. So I'm gonna need to scale up any encounters here, which is good to know. And in fact, I may just in this part they're receiving urgent summons to explain a huge creature about which little is known. Holy smokes, there's literally no reason to have an auto reveal that. Wow. Bizarre, man. Bizarre. Alright, whatever. Has been spotted burrowing under the ashen fields. Scorched Grove, that's where it is. Scorched Grove. Wood. Alright, so we're going to just generate a simple plan template and So let's see, what are we naming this adventure? So at this point, I think Isaac, Bibley, Domperio, and Clover are all going to be in the adventure together. Clover was last. It was last in like finding her sister, in Elderheart. They were in Elderheart or searching something on one of the guards that they took that inclined them to believe their sister was in danger or had been harmed. So, Clover's return. Return of Clover. Act. Sister Act 2. Your sister is Whitney Houston, or Whoopi Goldberg. That'd be actually super dope. Sibling rivalry. We're gonna make it a family problem. So interesting stuff for Dungeon Master, which I think took every bit, but we're not actually going to reading this. Cool thing about this is some characters I can just put in Bibbly Bobbly Boop, and then I absolutely love being the names of automatically search and find my junk. Clover. And alright. Strong start. So how do we start strong with this one? Bibley had run off, died. So, Bibley is caught by and hiding out in the fortress. Attack. Winston one. The group needs. So the idea here is that Benna, having seen the destruction of Silver, who she had known since, has basically drafted a peace accord. Take the peace accord proposal, Alderheart, find. So this is the hot start, which isn't very hot at all. I'm not super thrilled about it. Don't really have a choice. I'm gonna have to get everybody. I think we'll just have to take the L on this one. So capture and Benna's command. So this is the scene where Benna basically issues the the peace treaty like agreement, like and gives the party the orders to go do it. I think I actually prepped this already, so I'll try and for it. But basically, where Benna just tells them what to go to. So, I think I'm gonna hand wave travel to Alderheart because I want to get them back to Clover and get Clover in the game as quickly as Alderheart's political circus. So I think ultimately what we're gonna say is that Clover's sister Clover did not go back to find her sister because she was worried about her, but because she was angry with her. And she's angry with her because she finds out that her sister has secretly been funding these bandits and like collaborating with them and giving them information. So I think that's ultimately what it is. And when she goes back to Alderheart, confronts her sister, sister's like, you know, it's a good story if you can prove it, right? And so it creates this kind of this political circus that happens in Alderheart where I kind of want Clover to directly accuse and deal with or dig up the dirt on her sister and kind of establish the distinction there. We'll see if that takes. I don't know. I kind of need to pass it by the player, I think. But I'll talk to them about it. We'll get that sorted. During this political circus, we have the actual adventure, which is something that I definitely want to get on. So the council informs them of the ash snake, but the way that it's brought out here, I think, yeah, parties are a friend. Council aid will come to them, deliver an emergency council summons. The official-looking letter asks the characters to appear before the council. They're able. Characters are current. Location in the world. Tracker from Alderheart may come to call on them, deliver the urgent summons. Data summons day or the day after characters arrive in the city to give them a chance. I think we're fine with that. Tenders of badly blah blah blah. My Tandy's returned to Alderheart. Whether or not it's actually returned depends on whether fine. This seems like Lewis. Okay. Future of the Coalition. Charges for choices. If Benna was reasoned with, which is kind of the case. Cool. Wildwood Brigade. Okay, so that's kind of the thing, and I think that this is what I planned out with kind of the discussion around the part. But I'm not super worried about that. I actually just want to get on with the next adventure. I think it's Trouble with the Tenders. Luma, Ever of the Spring Path. Ruddy gray feathers and a short beak. I don't like. I'm actually wondering if. Okay, so this is like a D&D faction. Tever is a sapling. Barely escaped from an ash snake attack that killed his bed. Okay. I want to swap this character for Clover's sister. They're both Luma. There's no reason they can't be related. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea of having there's some trauma now with her sister. So maybe this is actually what So, sibling rivalry, circus, there's trauma. Role play of first death of a mentor. So the way that works is like they don't actually know what it is. Walter Hart political service. I don't think we're actually. So yeah, I'm really not 100%. This is actually, yeah. Negotiate the truce. Okay. This one is Sibley's capture and Benno's command. Group majority of party. Get them moving for heart. Easy enough there. Scene 4. So this is trauma. So it's the Scorched Grove investigation. So there is a section here, the Scorched Grove. So the emergency session. Okay, the tenders is just literally a description. Emergency session is kind of where we're at with that one. Obviously shaken after the encounter. Points out on a map where this most recent sighting took place. Beto will mention that the grove is a dangerous place. Cool. Scorched Grove. Grove is a result. Check. Holy shit. Have you not been able to hear me this whole time? I'm such an idiot. I need to work on these filters. Check. Test. I'm also just gonna up this so that hopefully I'm more hearable. I don't know. I don't really care. Alright. Long ago, bird folk thought they could stop forest fires from devastating the wood by using a powerful otherworldly magic. But the plan backfired. Their magics only fueled the flames, and the grove was consumed. By the grace of the Amaranthine, the bird folk were able to lull the blaze into a quiet slumber. While the flames were contained, the act unbalanced the elemental forces of the wood for generations. This is why only gentle magics are used to help the earth heal. With nature, the slow way is the right way. Sounds like some tender propaganda if I've ever heard some. Am I right? Who's with me? Fuck these guys. Unionize. Just kidding. I don't give a shit. Scorched Grove. Okay, so that doesn't really say much. Let's get out of these and crack open the map that has the Scorched Grove in it. So here's the Scorched Grove, and this map has hex grids, which, God, how did they not go to the avium yet? Is that just like in the next adventure? Mysteries of the Avium, yeah, it's in chapter 4. They go right by it twice. Like, okay. Whatever. Approaching the grove. Ooh, a bird. So yeah, I love this. The cloud of ember bats. Yeah. So that will be yeah, we're not gonna do Scorched Grove. It's approaching the grove. And ember bats and the orb can be attacked and has the following properties. Emberbat Cloud, huge creature, the Flaming Spectre. Okay. So I kind of need both of these to happen in this one kind of scene. And I think we can pull that off. Should be pretty straightforward. You may attempt to harm it, it will turn an attack. The Fire Spectre uses a stat block for Valor Elemental, but it is medium and has only 51 hit points. Cool. We fixed reaching the grove. The forest gives way to expansive plains of ash, dotted with the charred husks of petrified trees. The wind here has a heat to it, and it constantly disturbs the ashen soil. As it blows, small embers can be seen forming in disturbed ash, glowing briefly before being swept up and fading on the wind. This place is clearly unnatural. That's pretty cool. So, regardless of the path, the route the party took, once they arrive in the location described by Tever, which I need to find out the name for, replacing that character, they will need to locate the creature that has been preying on the tenders. A DC 15 survival check, so it's needed to follow the trail. On a failure, it takes another day of searching. Okay, so at this point now they are searching, searching for the ash snake. So I think finding the ash snake is kind of the right. That's the cliffhanger moment. That's what we want. Is hopefully they get into the ash, like they've searched, they get into the ash snake fight, and we cut to black. Start the next session off with our really strong ash snake fight. That should be fun. That should just be pure fun. Search the Ashen Grove until it is found. And cliffhanger. Cool. At Bibli. Oh gosh. At Bibli. Bibbidi babbidi boo. Is capture and Benna's command. So we're kind of set off with that. So secrets and clues. What are some interesting secrets and clues that the party can learn? Check off when revealed. God, I love this. This is so cool. So what are some things that can be known here? Or secrets. So add urgency or consequences to players' decisions to complicate matters. Announce that by the time they locate the ash snake, it has already found another tender and is attacking them. Okay. Combat start with the party being surprised by the ash snakes ambushing the fleeing tender. Ash snake will burst from the ground next to the tender as they try to escape. Okay, that's all semi-interesting, but not really what I'm looking for here. I need secrets and clues. Maybe we can circle back to that. So the fantastic locations. Actually, good to know, good to think about here. So one thing that I haven't really done here is done the villain, right? So the ash snake is a villain. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of all there is to it. I think there's a good picture on the internet of this ash snake. I actually have the model, which I very much intend to paint. Very excited about it. Yeah, this one. Window. Oh no. That's not what I meant to do. Ash snake. Can I just get this stupid image? Copy link address. No, copy image address. That's what I want. Villains. Link. Slap chop. It's fine. I think that's fine. I don't think we need to go ham bony. Oh, maybe we do need to go ham bony. Let's add a cover and change the cover. Or I guess there's an unsplash option. I'm not fucking sure. Let's do like the location. So the Ashen Grove is like a place. Scorched Grove, the Scorched Grove. Interesting. Interesting. I didn't know that this was here. Oh, cool. Alright. Yeah, we'll grab this shit, dog. Copy link address. Or copy image address. And slap chop. Reposition. Get a little beautiful. Right? Okay, whatever. I guess not. I don't know what is wrong with this thing. I guess maybe we'll just... So, if I go back to this, I should have my villains here, and here's my ash snake. That's really the only villain for this adventure, and then location-wise, I'm gonna delete this one. Actually, you know what? I have a feeling that maybe the way that this is set up is you remove this one and change this one to be that other one. Snack. Copy image address. I'm just trying to figure out how this tool works in this context because I feel like that's... What the fuck? Okay, I guess. I thought there were images. I'm so confused by this. This sucks so bad. I have no idea. Try one more thing here. some large icons, please. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what's up with that thing or why that's not working. And I'm gonna deal with adding the rest of the villains to this later. Let's go back to locations. Let's focus on locations real quick. Something pinged me. Something beeped me. Whatever. I hope it's not important. I'm certainly not paying that much attention to it. Yeah. Let's move on to, so we need, this is Alderheart, I think. Need oh, interesting. The Warriors is my friend's interesting. I didn't realize that. One of the artists for our modules likes the Warrior Cats books or whatever. I only just recently got into it, but okay, yeah, so these are all okay, so don't look for Alderheart if you mean Alderheart Humblewood. Grab that big beautiful tree footage. Copy image address. Link. Mint. I'm also curious, like change cover, what is Unsplash? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. For Hearts, Council, Chambers, and I can honestly reposition this up to the top because that's where it is. It's like right here. Save position. Looks good. And I think that's basically it for now. There's not a ton that I need to know about it. It's just there. And then the other place is the Scorched Grove, which also I just had an image for. We're just going to use this one again. Copy image address. Locations. Change cover. Link. Reposition this, boom, and now we've got Scorched Grove. Still with no image. That is super annoying. I'm pretty sure that's how images work in this thing. I don't know why it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Open this page. Looks great. Super dope. Yeah, look at these. So I don't understand. Oh, I add it to the comments. That's interesting. Okay, so let's just add a comment. Add comment. I want to add an image to this, and I'm not sure how. Empty page or create a template. To continue with an empty page. Create a template. Oh, here we go. Okay, so now we just do this. I put in an image, I think. There is such a fucking thing. Okay. Image, embed link, this image. I'm fucking probably on the wrong one. That image. Okay, yeah, that was the wrong one. Wrong. Doing this totally wrong. All right, delete. Okay, I'm starting to understand how this works. So you come down here. I get it. God, they really buried this thing. That is so stupid. That's that the one thing I finally found that is maybe wrong with this program. Otherwise, this thing's just a dream. I have no idea if this is right. It is right. Yay! It's right. Okay, yay! Hey, we made it. Things are starting to look less shitty. Oh, yay! Alright, copy image address. Let's go back here. Let's do this again. Alright, Scorched Grove. Well, pooper down here. Up, wrong. Image. Nope, that doesn't friggin' work. Reading mark, not what I want to do. See? Oh my god. So annoying. Okay. Init, link, boom, embed. Okay. Ow. Cool. Scorched Grove, Alderheart Council. I can get rid of this now. Remove. Boop. Okay. Then we have the ash snake, and then we have this indither. Indither. Which we're gonna delete. Okay, cool. Let's go back to Sibling Rivalry, where the location is going to be at Alderheart Council Chamber, and in this one it will be at Scorched Grove. Cool. NPCs. I do not have any NPCs. NPC links, use the symbol, @ symbol to internally link to an NPC page. So we're gonna, yep, that's not what I want to do. Delete permanently is what I want to do. Delete it. Cool. This is starting to look kind of like a thing. So Sibling Rivalry. I still need my secrets and clues, NPCs. So let's do. Oop. Okay. We need some NPCs, and I have a few that come directly from the module, and I should add them real quick because it seems pretty easy to do. In fact, I can just add a page directly. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. This is probably... Okay, let's do this. Saradin. She's an NPC and was a villain. I don't know. It's complicated. I don't have the mental or emotional capacity to sort out what the fuck is up with that. But I can find an image of her, so that's cool. Here we go. Dem hips. Copy image address. Down here. Post an image. Oops. Image, embed link. Embed image. Oop. Fucking wrong. Wow. Yeah, that didn't work. I guess just delete. Add a new image, and then I gotta go copy it again, I guess. Dennis Harridan, copy image address. Fuck. It don't work. This is the website, and see if we can do that. Copy image address. You know, watch me embed an image 50 million times. There we go. There we go. Alright, cool. So that's Benacerid. And holy smokes, what is that amazing smell? I got dessert and some tea. Thank you, Mama. Alright, so Benacerid is one of the NPCs. There is another one here. Havel of the Autumn Moon is a Gallus. And I'm gonna say frail but courageous Hudden Gallus. Doesn't like plumage. The dear friend of Tevor. This will be a friend of Clover's sister. And the two have fallen for each other during their time together. And Elderheart Havel is a summer blossom. A rank given to experienced members of the Tundras. Working. Actually, this is a cute little gay couple, and I don't think I could break them up anymore. Or make them straight. So I don't know how the sister's gonna play out in this. We'll have to see. Interesting. Okay. Okay. It's funny they have the images backwards there. Havel of the Autumn Moon. They are an NPC. Don't really need any of this stuff. Let's see what's on the little D&D Q&A. That sounds like a nice way to kill the last half an hour of shit. Let's see what's out there. Ooh, I got some weird spice was in my teeth. Like peppery. It's good. Yeah, let's go to the root of this. Oh, is this the root of this? What? Magic item makers, I have a request. What weapon and what features would you have Scorpion's Spear in the first, albeit awful, Mortal Kombat film take on? Dart kunai with a built-in Thorn Whip effect. Would it be embedded into a PC's arm? Have any side effects, harmful or otherwise? I don't know. This isn't really my genre. I'm not a big fan of like swiping other people's, like, I don't know. It wasn't that cool of a tool. There's already like really good martial arts weapons out there that are chain based. And yeah, that's just not my kind of question, I guess. So we'll move to the next one. So this one, Dave Harder asked 12 hours ago, hey guys, so I'm a bit stuck with campaign building. It's a Goblinoid campaign, and the problem I'm having, who would bugbears be so afraid of that they would serve and give up loot and treasure? My first thought, of course, would be a dragon, but I ain't feeling that vibe. What else would you consider? Literally, kind of the short answer to this is I would consider fucking literally everything else. Like, there's no reason that you cannot have difficult alliances, right? In fact, most alliances are difficult. Most alliances are not between people you would expect, and mainly because the reasons to ally are kind of one thing, and then your reasons to not be allies is like another, right? Like, you're not sharing your bread, you're not sharing your currency, you're not sharing. There's a bunch of things you're just already saying, no, we're not going there. So to go beyond that in alliance is difficult, and always there's good reasons not to do that. But I realize that saying literally anything is not a super useful answer, although it looks like everybody has some set of answers, which is great. I think these are great. Man, Bear, Pig is probably among my favorite. I think my answer was humans. Like, what if the bugbears and goblinoids have just been pressed into the service of a ruthless human organization? Having been invaded and defeated by the humans, the goblinoids have all been conscripted to military service and are regularly sent on suicide missions. So this is, it's shitty, it's kind of racist, but it's also like pretty compelling storytelling. That it's very common in at least Western imperial traditions, and I think in most imperial traditions, that when you like imperialism, this Lachlan Hoy says, imperialism and mind control are the two best bets. Now, I don't know about best bets. Like, there's, again, anything could be a good match. So worth looking, but I would probably do humans just because humans are such a problem in my campaign setting. Hi everyone. So Josh Berg posts, hi everyone, first time posting. Anyone ever run or play in Eberron? I'm going to be starting my first venture DMing 5e there. Congratulations. Best of luck to you in Eberron. I have never played it or run it, so I am not the person to answer that question. Kane Citizen asked a question. I am making an 80s style shopping center, Malden Canaans. A pocket dimension where adventurers can shop for magic items. I'm trying to populate it with stores that have all their magic needs. Anyone got great ideas for stores and owner operators, also non-item based shops and NPCs, so it's not just an elaborate inventory menu. Let's say contract writing services, or like I guess like fiendish attorney services or legal services, fiendish legal services. So like basically would be fun, I think. It's they're doing a shopping center, so I feel like the shopping center needs to have like food court with interesting and novel magical effects for eating or drinking certain things. I think that could be really fun. You could go a little nuts on that, but I think if you had a pretty good spread of, you could kind of play it up to like, fast food chains or anything. You'd go to a shopping mall and like go get some sushi or whatever. And then you could, kind of color that by saying like, yeah, if you pick this, like you get, and you don't have to tell them what the effect is. You just afterwards are like, oh, by the way, you ate this and this, so now you've got like a -2 to your wisdom checks, shit like that. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Could be fun. Food court with interesting and novel magical effects for eating or drinking certain things. And then what else goes good in a shopping center? So random magic junk kiosks with pushy salespeople in between the quote real stores that all sell really bad junky cantrip wands and stuff that can only be used once. And who knows, maybe that's like, maybe that also falls under like, kiosks might also sell like low impact potions and scrolls for spells no one cares about. I think that's a reasonable enough answer. We're gonna go ahead and post that. Hopefully that helps our fine feathered friend out. Shannon Frank asked a question. A strange, glowing, boggy marsh and creatures unlike any seen in these parts. What could it mean, and where did they come from? This place has a deep connection to the Fey realm, and over the centuries, a rift has formed beneath its waters to allow creatures both sides. Swamp, discovery, fairy bog, entering the pool. This doesn't feel like a question. I don't think it's a real question. Pronunciation of Thaco rhymes with Jacko or Jaco or something else. Rhymes with taco. Rhymes with just no. Yeah, not an interesting question. It is Thaco, as far as I remember. I'm sure there are people who also said Thaco, and I'm sure they would be just as correct. We already got a like on our answer, which is nice. It looks like the author, the person who wrote it, is reading through and liking people who answer, which is always nice. By the way, also, I've got to say, 80s style shopping center, let that be the beginning of your campaign. You want to fucking have a great campaign start in an 80s shopping mall, and then magically teleport everybody to Shitsville and do the D&D thing. But make sure everybody picks an actual mall persona, and everybody knows what the fuck that is. I don't know anybody that I say mall persona to, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what that means." No, everybody knows what that is. We've all been there. We've all had a mall persona. I probably haven't had one in years, but when I was a teenager, I knew who I was in the mall, right? So I'm just saying. I think it's a fucking great idea. It's kind of the premise of Mars Calls, and I love it. I think you should do that. Run Eberron. We already looked at that. How many of you have rewritten spell lists for some subclasses to give them spells that fit their theme? And how many of you have rewritten old subclasses to counter their weaknesses or to account for power creep? I would have a hard time telling you how many of us do either of those things. But I personally do not usually modify printed classes, though they occasionally act as a template for new subclasses or spells that I want to make. So that is to say, I usually do not create a variation of a major subclass or whatever to use in my own games, nor do I usually accept those. If somebody has some homebrew or whatever, fine, but I prefer something to be if it's going to be a homebrew, just homebrew the whole fucking thing. Don't bother trying to tweak something from the past. Blade Singer is kind of the one that comes back to me as I think they changed it recently. It used to be really, really weak, and then they kind of powered it up. And there's always going to be power creep in Dungeons and Dragons. And in games just in general, and I don't think that that's something you need to worry about or necessarily avoid. The point of the game is to have kind of a power fantasy in a way, and so I think it serves that. And if you need it to not serve that, if your players want to play a game where they're not experiencing a power fantasy, the game can be modified to do that too. In fact, there's some stuff in the Van Richten's guide that specifically goes into playing a character of horror, right? A frightened character of horror, a panicking character of horror. And that's kind of a weird thing in D&D. The characters are always I'm totally cool, I'm totally calm, nothing gets me down. And the reality is if you were actually in this situation with a fucking dragon breathing in, you'd be running, you'd be terrified. You failed that saving throw, you shit your pants. That's just how life is. But they're superheroes, so there's some tools in there for doing that. might be worth checking out. Otherwise, I say let the characters be powerful, change the stakes another way, right? Like, the most powerful person in the world still loves their mother, or still wants to protect their child, right? Like, there's stakes. There's stakes in the game that you can tune and dial that are narrative that have nothing to do with the stat blocks of the character. Let them use their stat blocks and their tools to meet those objectives, right? To handle those stakes. Josh Lange asks an hour ago, my level 9 party of 4 are currently in the Underdark after killing a Neo-Thelid, as well as a small hive of Mind Flayers and a Ulitharid. Interesting. On their way to the ruins of the Mind Flayer hive, one of my players sank into a hole in the floor and saw the remnants of an ancient sunken settlement underneath a Dwargar stronghold. Now they want to go check it out. I guess that's what I get for making a throwaway comment of that nature. The question is, what race or type of monsters might they find within this ancient settlement? Any help would be greatly appreciated. I mean, TBH, I would really just use undead. A good, splash of a group of different, or I guess just, a group of different undead that the remains of the ancient city have risen to become. It's solid, simple, justifiable, and most importantly, can be painted however you want. So if it's an ancient drow place, they are undead drow. If it's an ancient gnomish place, ancient gnomes. If it's an ancient illithid place, then you have some Prometheus level sickness going on. Could be a good vignette, I think. So it is an ancient drow place. It is illithid, which I need to. Some Prometheus is spelled correctly but not punctuated. A good vignette. Important. If it could be a good vignette. And most importantly, it could be a good undead gnomes. Cool. Seems like a good answer. I'll take it. Playable monstrous race, succubus. By the way, we already have those. I think I used tiefling succubus. Was not a problem. Yeah, this is whatever. My party is starting their third session at level 2, 5 players, and are going to be encountering some very high level threats that there is just no way they can overcome. Do you prepare strats in a situation like that anyway? Okay. So, do you prepare stats in a situation like that anyway for high level threats? Yes. If the monster is going to be doing damage to the party or taking damage from the party, put a stat block in. Even if it's just an AC and some HP and a dice for attack damage. That said, I prefer to give a good, like, that said, I would definitely recommend telegraphing the idea of retreat and survival by either letting the party see a more powerful ally succumb to the monster, or having them see a more a powerful ally retreat from the monster. So this is a trick, right? And it's not even really a trick, right? Basically, if you want your players to consider retreat an option, one of the best ways you can possibly highlight that is to have one of your NPCs literally retreat or just get killed outright. Like, so if they have any allies that are going with them in the fight that are NPCs, might be time to sack one of them, or maybe that's, you know, a good time for them to say, hey, look, it's been fun, this thing's gonna kill us, I'm fucking out of here, you know, and run off. Or as the party's approaching, have the last person who went up there, right, fleeing, and they run into them on the way, right? So the party knows going forward, the last person who got this far ran away. If we go up there, it's very possible we'll have to do the same thing. So that's my opinion. Gerald Allen, 1 hour ago. To the wise DM and GM community. You flatter me, Gerald. Thank you. Trying to do a multi-continental online campaign. I have all new players who know each other well, but seem nervous to roleplay in front of each other. It's getting to the point that I want to pull them out of this homebrew campaign and have them play some pre-rolled characters to try and loosen them up a little. Any advice on this bizarre situation? What kind of character spotlighting are you doing? Do you ask personal questions about the characters? I think the mistake is to think that player role-playing is speaking extemporaneously as the character. In reality, we don't really even do that ourselves. Like, I don't want to say that. So, I think a mistake is to think that player role-playing is speaking extemporaneously as the character, which I think is true. Like, it's a mistake to assume that that is role-playing, and that's what role-playing looks like. Choosing character actions opinions and ideas is also fundamental. And probably more important than voices. But it can be helpful to guide the PCs with a little question setup. As an example, in a recent game, the party had lost an ally in the previous session and were imprisoned at the beginning of this session. So I asked them, who spoke first? Clean some of this shit up while we're in here. Lost an ally. Was imprisoned at the beginning of the session. So I asked them who spoke first. And once I knew that, I asked what they were talking about. One was plotting revenge, while the other was sulking. Then I asked which one of you was the first to mention Grassblood, the dead PC. That started a whole series of actions, reactions, and emotions that really told a compelling story. We spent the first 45 minutes of the session in a jail cell with 3 players. We had a blast montaging the escape plan, character interactions, and background expositions all the way. So I guess my advice here, and it is not easy advice. I don't think that there's necessarily an easy answer or fix for this, unfortunately. But I would say that my solution to this is to kind of, if you know what's going to happen in the session, if you know like what the general plan is for the game, or what's going to happen in that one session, I try to make sure that I've kind of lined up some time in the adventure to just ask the party, the individuals in the party, personal questions about their character. Like, hey, you kind of took a beating back there. What is your, what do you think of these things? Right? Get them talking about their feelings, the character's feelings about things. How they react to, it's, hey, you were a real champ back there. How are you, are you strutting your stuff? How are you kind of calling attention to that victory? Is that something you need, right? Does your character seek validation from the other PCs? Like, what's really interesting, I think, about it is that, like, you can ask shit about characters to the player's face that you could never ask a person to their face, right? Like, is your character just hurt because they are insecure? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I said that to somebody, they'd be like, "Fuck you!" Like, "Fuck you for calling me out," and "Fuck you!" Like, you don't know me, you don't know my story. But if I ask a person about their character, hey, like, Are they seeking validation in this moment because they're feeling a little insecure? Like, yes, I'm creating a narrative opportunity there. I'm also inviting them to refute it, right? But if it sounds interesting, if it sounds reasonable, and it sounds like a fun thing to go along with, I think you'll be surprised at how often characters join in on that kind of stuff. If you want a quick hack for giving characters more depth, like just a little bit more depth so they have something to go on, because I know one of the things that player characters, at least me as a player character, one of the things that I struggle with is like, I'll be a blank slate, man. I'm like, yeah, I've got my guy. He's here to do an adventure. Like, let's go on the adventure. I can kick down doors and kill monsters and take treasure. Like, what's so complicated about that? And maybe I've got some complicated feelings about where the character's coming from or what their background is. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't apply to the session that we're having. But, give your character an astrological sign. Um, say they're a fucking Cancer with a Scorpio rising and or a Scorpio moon and a Gemini rising or some shit, and then like go look what those mean on astrology. It's pretty straightforward. They're none of them are that complicated, and then take those ideas into how your character reacts. And I think you'll be surprised at how much more frequently your character has something to react to and something to do. Like, cancers are moody, right? So being a moody Cancer, like you can just imagine this character kind of going in between being slightly manic and kind of being a little, butthurt or depressive. Whereas, Capricorns are super practical and very pragmatic, but they kind of seek a lot of validation. So like, yeah, you'll just have, and again, none of these things, the beauty of the tool is that on one side, there's a bunch of people who are looking at these star things and going like, oh, that totally says a story about me. But also, you can just use them as like a pastiche for what you want your character to be like in the game. And I think it's a nice hack. It's a super sweet cheat. And it kind of gets you, it gets you something where otherwise there was nothing, and it's very cheap. Very, very cheap. In fact, if you want to randomly select a sign, grab a d12, roll it, pick the fucking sign that's in that spot. Like, you're done, right? So that's another cheap hack. I think this is probably a better answer, but who knows? Maybe we'll circle back on that. Okay, one more, and then I'm logging off, and that's the end of the story. Douglas Herkett asked a question yesterday at 8:22 a.m. Good morning, Douglas from yesterday. Hi guys, new first time DM here. How do you guys go about making battle maps and dungeons? What a fantastic question. And I like this answer. I'm actually going to just give a pure one like for this answer and this answer, which are both fine. Incarnate is probably one of the best tools out there for making battle maps right now as a non-artist. If you are not an artist or are just kind of dinking with it, that's probably the way to go. There is another one. Let's say it's Dungeon Fog. Which is also really nice. But I have not used very much, to be perfectly honest. I had some problems with one of their things early on, and I just have not been able to swing it ever since. So I've been using Incarnate since, but I think Dungeon Fog and Incarnate are pretty nice. I do like this answer. And actually, this is a cool. So this talks about dry erase dungeon boards. So I have the dungeon boards. I will say my very favorite way to run Dungeons and Dragons was actually to play it on a whiteboard. We just laid a whiteboard out on the table back in my patio in San Francisco, and across like the patio section, and all the minis would be up there, and we would play at the table, and then people would get up and go and manipulate their pieces when they needed to, or like reference stuff. It was pretty cool. It was an interesting thing to have there. It was pretty nice to have. Lots and lots of maps. Really, really cool stuff. Yep, and I think that's all we're gonna do tonight. I thank you so much for watching, and if you get an opportunity to, please don't forget to check out our website, watcherdm.com. Grab yourself some free modules; they're up there for a while. Again, follow our newsletter, get on that subscription hype, and you will get a free module in your inbox soon when we release Moon Elves Masquerade. We are also potentially working on a module called The Immovable Murder, which is a mouthful, but is actually a really, really fun idea. And then I think the last bit of news there is you will, if you're on the mailing list, see something about the Doom Desert Roll20 board coming out. So, again, thank you so much for watching.